Did capitalism and the Republican Party, or just good old-fashioned greed, take a big bite out of religion? It's going down. It's fascinating. Check it out. Share your comments. Share it with your friends. And subscribe to our channel. Every time we have a major war, the weapons that were just introduced in the previous war are used. Whether it's aircraft or whether it's new kinds of bombing or whether it's, a napalm, whatever it may be. Now it's nukes. And a World War III, I'm quite sure, would be a nuclear war, and it could be a civilization killer. Literally, the end of human civilization. Which, as I said last hour, I mean, there are people who would argue that's a good thing for the planet. I'm not so sure. But there is a group who actually thinks it would be a wonderful thing to have a civilization-ending war, a planet-ending war. And that group calls themselves evangelicals, or evangelical Christians. This last day doom cult that has consumed Christianity and melded itself at the hip to the Republican Party. This is, how else can you say it other than to say, clearly not a healthy thing. Now, interestingly, the Pew Research Center just came out with this report, day before yesterday, actually. And it's over at their website, pewforum.org. In the headline, in the United States, the decline of Christianity continues at a rapid pace. They note that 43% of American adults identify with Protestantism, or call themselves Protestant Christians, down from 51% in 2009. All subsets of religiously unaffiliated people have seen their numbers increase. 17% of Americans now describe their religion as, quote, nothing in particular, up from 12% in 2009. And this is if you aggregate all of it among Christians. In 2009, 78% of Americans identified themselves as Christians. Today, it's 65%. As religiously affiliated Christians. And the percentage of people who identify themselves as religiously unaffiliated Christians from 2009 to today has gone from 16% up to 26%. And both Protestants and Catholics are shrinking as a percentage of our population. Now, that's just looking at Christianity. But it raises a really interesting question. Why? Excuse me. I've said on this program, I've been saying this for 16 years, that I consider myself a Christian in that, I was raised in Christianity. And so, it's kind of baked into me. And I love the words of Jesus. I think, he was a great philosopher. This whole idea of, original sin and the need for salvation and Jesus died for your sin. I have a problem with all that. But I don't think that makes me not a Christian. But I can tell you that there's a lot of Christian churches that would say, no, you're not welcome here. Not with that perspective. So I'm one of those unaffiliated Christians who believes in the teachings and the ethos of the religion, but not in all of the doctrine, and not in some of the more far out stuff like, we've got to have this war to end all wars, where the Second Temple gets erected, where the Al-Aqsa Mosque gets taken over by Christians or Jews, and then, Jesus will, then there's a giant war in Israel, and only 144,000 Jews are left, and they all convert to Christianity to avoid being destroyed, and then Jesus returns to the earth. So why is Christianity in decline in the United States? I mean, I think this is a really important and meaningful question. I think that a lot of it has to do with the fact that big money has corrupted Christianity the same way it's corrupted the Republican Party. And to some extent, to a large extent, the Democratic Party as well. You've got evangelical mega church pastors and televangelists who are they've become the new Borgias, the Italian family that had 3 popes. Kind of took over the Catholic Church for a while. and lived in bizarre excess. And this is the evangelical megachurch pastors and the televangelists. They're living lives of luxury. They're building massive personal fortunes. They've got private jets. They've got estates. And they're telling their followers that God loves this particular corrupt politician and that particular corrupt politician. You know, I'd say the Catholic Church never excised their own internal rot and corruption, which goes back to the Borgias. And they're paying a price for it right now. And Protestant Christianity is at a crossroads. Is Protestant Christianity going to return to their core, their generally apolitical middle-class values? The Methodist church that I was raised in, where politics was literally never mentioned. Or will the most visible leaders among the Protestant religions continue to embrace the Republican Party and its billionaire mega donors and thus continue to destroy Christianity? And then you look at the numbers. 94% of Republicans overall oppose impeaching Donald Trump and removing him from office. Okay? 94%. But among evangelicals, 99% oppose impeaching Donald Trump. The guy who grabs women, the guy who assaults women, the guy who has had 2 divorces and is on his 3rd wife, who got into the United States now, on an Einstein visa, and who brought her parents over with chain migration and all the. It's like, that Trump is campaigning against. I mean, Stephen Miller's head has to be exploding, right? But has capitalism and the Republican Party destroyed religion? I guess that's ultimately the question. Can religion, just like in the first hour I was asking, basically, can peace recover from capitalism and the Republican Party? Can democracy recover from the Supreme Court inflicting all this damage on it over the years and the Republican Party? And now can religion recover from this?